Hello. I'm here because in my business and so forth, I feel I'm a procrastinator. And I know the answer is just do it. But
well, that's not our answer. In fact, we want to shake this up in a way that you'll really understand it. Procrastination is far more often a good thing than a bad thing. Write it down. Because when you don't feel like doing something and you do it anyway, you're bucking a current and it's a waste of time. And all you do is get hold of those oars and then tell us the story of how valiant you are and start insisting that you need monuments in your name. When you take the time to line up energy, when you get vibrationally in sync with an idea, procrastination doesn't even enter in. You're so full of inspiration that nobody can keep you from doing it. Haven't you ever had something like that where you wanted it and you knew you wanted it, and even though people who were reasonably wise around you were trying to discourage you, what they said didn't make any difference because you knew that this was the direction for you to go? That's what inspired action is, you see. So when people talk about procrastination, they are trying to orient themselves in an action-oriented world, because everybody's had the experience of, I didn't really feel like doing it, and but I made myself do it, and once I started doing it, then I felt more like doing it. And don't disagree with that. We know that you can not feel like doing something and you can force yourself to do it, and then you can sort of get focused on the idea of it, and then you line up your energy. We're not saying that action cannot sometimes lead to energy alignment, but we will always say action first is always backwards. In moving through procrastination by forcing yourself to do something that you don't feel like doing, you can go through the motions, but you will not get the results, we promise you. So what you want to say is not, oh, I'm just going to bask in my feeling of procrastination forevermore. No one will ever make me do something. That's not the point we're wanting to make. What we want you to say to yourself is, when I feel like this, my action is going to be hard. And sometimes I have to push through because I have a commitment and I said I would. But my dominant intent is to give my thoughts to my dreams so profoundly that I am coming so abundantly and often into alignment with who I really am, that inspiration is the order of my day. Can you imagine if Jerry and Esther had said to the river guide, where does this raft get out of the river? And he would have said, several miles downstream in Fort Collins. And can you imagine if Jerry and Esther had said, well, then we would like to put our raft back on the bus and bus it down the canyon, and we'd like to put it in the river about 50 yards from where we're going to take it out, because we like instant manifestation. And he would say, whatever you want, crazy lady, but I thought you wanted a ride on the river. And what we want you to get the feeling of is, when you are deliberately turning downstream, reaching for relief, when you are deliberately reaching for better feeling thoughts and consistently turning downstream so that you're going with the flow, the things that occur to you occur in a timely manner. You rendezvous with circumstances and events. There begins to get a momentum going that carries you, and you begin to understand that effort and action are irrelevant under those conditions. But until you get lined up, you're doing a lot of action to make things happen. We want you to have action, because action is a delicious way that you enjoy life experience. We just want you to use your action to enjoy what you've created through vibrational alignment, not to try to create with the action. Your leverage is in alignment, you see. So when you say, I don't feel like doing that, we say, then it's not the right time. When you say, well, I could do it, but I'd have to really buck up and make myself do that, then we would say, we would do something else rather than buck up. We would focus on the dream. We would do our best to get excited about the dream. We would think about what we want and why we want it. We would remember where we started. We would try to hook on to the vibrational essence of where we're going. We'd line up the energy. And then we promise you, the word procrastination would never come out of your mouth. Tell us what you feel procrastination about. What's an example?
Cold calls and expanding my business.
All right, so I don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like doing it. I don't want to do it. So you don't do it. So you say, well, so the action right now is not the best thing for me to do because I can feel that I don't want to do it, which must mean my energy is not in alignment. So then you step back from the determination to act, and instead you say, what's this about anyway? Why am I even doing this business? Well, because I believe that it's of value, and I think that it adds value to others, and it certainly will add value to me. And when I first heard about it, I remember feeling excited about it, and I thought that it was something that I could do. And I remember thinking that it is something that I would like to apply myself to, and that as I did apply myself, that it could net me a good return, and it would provide me an avenue to do less of some of the other things that I'm not enjoying so much and more of the things that I am wanting. And I thought it felt good. It felt so refreshing to me, and I remember that feeling of wanting to do it. And just in that much conversation, your feeling of procrastination is gone. There was just that little bit of dialogue lined you up, and now not only did it line you up with being able to do the action, it lined you up with an action that will be productive when you do it. That's the difference. When you make yourself do something that you don't want to do, you're just banging around the hard way, and that's why next time you don't want to do it either. That's why they call them cold calls. You're hanging out there. It is. Nothing's warmed them up. The energy's not in alignment. The universal fairies of the universe haven't set things into circumstances and events. You're not inspired to the right action. You rendezvous with the wrong person. You get the result that you don't want. And you say, hey, I don't like that. And we don't blame you. That's not who you are. That's not what it's about. That's not what you signed on for. You signed on to dream and expand and refresh and improve. That's what you signed up for, you see. Yes.
Well, I thank you.
Yes, indeed.